Hey, it's Kelvin here, and today I'm diving into one of the most common live stream mix problems I see. Why your mix sounds clean when it's just one person speaking, but completely blows up when the full band plays. And I'll break down exactly what happens, and then I'll show you how to fix it with smart gain staging, with proper interface routing, and also with platform specific level. So let's jump right into the video. Now, the problem is very simple, and it's one that I've seen a comment about in my channel. When the pastor or a solo speaker handles the microphone, everything sounds good. The audio or the whole system is able to handle the audio properly. And when you throw in drums, guitars, keyboards, and even more microphones, suddenly your gain staging is toast, and you get distortion or digital clipping, depending on whether you're using an analog or a digital mixing console. And then your mix kind of struggles, and it sounds really, really terrible. From experience, the usual pattern for live stream setup I've seen, especially around small churches, is that there is a mixing console, analog or digital, and then from the output of the mixing console, signal is sent to an audio interface or a video switcher like the ATEM, and then the audio from the audio interface or the video switcher then goes into your live streaming software or the live stream platform itself. And so with these, there are like 3 different levels to check. So there's the mixing console, and then there is the USB audio interface to be sure that the signal is not clipping at the input of the audio interface. And then there is this streaming level, because different streaming softwares or streaming platform like YouTube, Zoom, and the rest, they expect signals in different level. And so a signal level that's very good for YouTube would be terrible when you use it for something like Zoom as well. So these are the 3 places to be careful of, and I'll get into them in more detail as the video progresses. Now let's get into the realm of solutions. And the first thing I want to talk about in terms of how to fix this issue is proper gain structuring. People oftentimes treat gain like it's sort of set to taste kind of thing, and it really hurts them and hurts their mix, because there is a proper gain setting procedure. I see lots of people who just plug an instrument or a microphone into the mixing console and treat that microphone in isolation and just crack the gain knob up until it sounds really loud enough for them to be happy about. The problem with that is when the mic is in isolation, or the pastor or whomever uses the mic is speaking to the microphone, everything looks good. But when you then add other things that you've set in similar fashion, just 2 of those microphones or other instruments kind of overloads the mixer already, and everything gets distorted. And if you're even using a digital mixer, it's worse because it clips, and digital clipping is terrible. So there is a proper way to set gain, and you have to follow that gain setting procedure for each of your input that comes into the mixing console. I've got a video on how to set gain on the mixing console using an analog mixer. I'll link the video in the description. So everything that comes to a mixing console, set it the right gain setting procedure, use the right gain setting procedure to set the right gain for it. And then when you bring everything together, the mixer is able to handle them the right way. And you've got like some level of headroom to spare, because when it comes to mixing live, when it comes to mixing at all, especially broadcast or live stream mix, your friend is headroom. You really want to maintain headroom at every point in time, because it's better for you to have a little bit of a low sounding mix that you can then maybe boost later on down the line, than to have something that distorts already at the early stage, at your gain stage, when it's coming to your mixing console, and then you really can't take away from it because it's already sound terrible, and everything downstream of your mixing console or your gain is already terrible. The second thing I want to talk about is to monitor your audio interface input levels. On your audio interface or your video switcher, whatever you're using or whichever you're using, you need to ensure that you're getting a healthy signal and not hitting the red, because if you're overloading there, there's no equation that will fix your mix other than that. I've got a story on this particular situation. I was in an event where I was mixing the event live front of house, and I was also creating kind of like a mix to send to whomever was handling the computer to then send to live stream. I had nothing. I wasn't interested in what's happening in the computer. I was just mixing audio, purely the audio guy. And then I did all of my internal setting and my mix, and then got 2 XLRs connected to an output, left and right output I've set for broadcast mix from a mixing console, then gave to the guy who was in charge of the live stream to then feed into his audio interface. And the mistake I made was that I just gave it to him and I ignored, and everything was good. I was monitoring the live stream mix from my mixing console and it was sounding good. Up until after the event, I went to listen back to the actual live stream mix on YouTube and it sounded really terrible. And then I got to find out afterwards that the audio levels on the audio interface, I think it was a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, was crazy. One of the inputs, I think the right was cranked all the way to the end, the left was somewhere in the middle. The audio levels settings for the Focusrite were on instrument rather than line level, and I think one of them had air, which is I think a reverb for the input, so it was all over the place. And you can take all the time in the world to make sure your mix sounds good, gain staging is gain structure in your mix, the mixing console is perfect, and then clip or distort your output from the input of your audio interface or the ATEM. I think the ATEM switcher, the audio input, it's got there's a mixer which you can then check if the what's coming in is set to the right level and if it's not terrible. So basically what I'm saying here is that you need to be able to monitor and make sure that every single point down the line that can either increase or take away from your audio signal level, you make sure everything is at the optimum level, everything is perfect, everything is where it's supposed to be. Because your audio system, like someone used to say, that your audio system is as good as the worst part. I think it's everything. Like the chain is as strong as the weakest part of the chain. It's true as well with audio. Your signals, your system is as strong or as good as the worst part of it. And if you have the best mixing console, you have the best mixer like audio engineer, and everything is all good down the line. And then when it gets to your audio interface to send into the streaming software, and it's messed up there, what the audience will hear online would messed up. Now the third thing I want to talk about is that you should match levels with streaming platform. I had a situation recently, it is very recent, where a church needed the same broadcast mix that was going to YouTube should be sent to Zoom, just without, I think, a little bit of some different visual stuff, but the audio has to be the same. And I thought it was all right. I already had the YouTube and everything sorted out, so just an issue of sending the exact same mix to Zoom. And what I discovered was Zoom was very fragile as compared to YouTube. YouTube is very forgiving, could handle lots of things, but Zoom was all over the place. I had to basically go through the whole of the settings to first of all ensure that the settings is such as it doesn't do anything to the audio, allows full audio to go through, there is no auto level control, there is no auto gain control, none of that nonsense. Just let the audio I'm sending and the quality I'm sending to go through. And I had to set that first, and also discover that the audio level was already too high. It was fine with YouTube, wasn't fine with Zoom. So basically what I did was I got a separate audio interface, a separate computer, so I had to send something with a different level to Zoom, and I had to monitor to be sure how much do I have to crank it for it to get to a point where it reaches the red line in Zoom, and then dial it back down so that the highest part of my mix would just be just before the red line in Zoom. And I think I then had to use a limiter to make sure I wouldn't really exceed my loudest part. That's like a little bit extra stuff, but you need to understand that depending on what platform you're streaming at, or if you're using a software like vMix or OBS, this handles audio signal level differently. So you're switching from one platform to another, or you're streaming directly from, say, ProPresenter or whatever it is, it's very important for you to really understand how this works. If it's possible, use metering softwares like Ulin, Ulin, that's the name, or whatever you can find out there, or even just the level meter shown on your software, to be sure that what you're sending is actually, if you need to do some extra work on the streaming software. And like I mentioned about the whole Zoom situation, be sure to ensure that there is no nonsense going on with auto compression or anything automatic going on it's fine if one is doing just a meeting where you just have a normal meeting, but if you want to send a full production level style of broadcast mix, into the platform, then you don't want the platform to do anything to your mix. You spent a lot of time trying to get the mix all right, so you don't want anything else to happen to it. Another thing I'd like to mention is to practice a full signal check rehearsal. Now, it's common for us to do like rehearsal for the front of house and you listen to how everything sounds, but more often than not, people fail to do full signal check rehearsal to see how the live stream works and how everything flows until the very event. So it's very important for us to do that. Spend time recording something or just streaming privately and see how it sounds. Monitor your whole signal flow. If you have the luxury of a mixing console where you can do multi-track recording, record the multi-track just at your preamp, play everything back in how it's supposed to be coming to the console, and then monitor the signal flow all the way to your live stream, or even stream something privately and play it back on whatever it is, your phone or whatever, just to be sure it sounds all good. Now, this is the first video in a series of live stream related content I want to create. And if you've not subscribed, please do so you'll be able to get this content as soon as it drops. And I'll have some exclusive contents in this same topic for channel members and done. So join the channel membership, link is going to be below if you want to see those exclusive contents. Thank you very much for sticking around till the end of this video. If you found it useful, please give this video a like and share it with someone. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.